Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the forecast for November 12th, all signs. It is a shared collective reading. Therefore, some of it may apply, all of it may apply, none of it may apply. So there. No, basically take what you need and leave the rest. If it fits a situation, I speak in broad terms. So if it fits a situation that's going on in your life or a type of way that you're feeling in your life, please utilize what I say to the best of your ability, to your advantage, to find whatever answers you need, right? Please check out the drop down menu on any of my daily readings because they give you insight into how I want you to utilize the channel in these videos. Also, it tells you which decks I use if you're interested in them, and how to get in contact with me for like a private reading, or how to find me on Instagram or Facebook, all of that sort of stuff. But this is the daily reading. Ways you can support the channel, please hit that thumbs up button if you do enjoy the reading or if it made an impact or you found it to be, interesting even. Just hit that thumbs up button. It lets me know you're liking the content. And you can always leave a question or comment if there's anything that comes up in your mind. If there's something more private that you have a question about in regards to your reading, you can certainly use those social media contacts to direct message me and I can try and answer the question for you more in an offline way. What else? This was originally created for Thursday. No, sorry. We're now at 11:11. Today is the morning of 11:11. For Friday, the 12th of November. It is not solely set for that date, so these are timeless. If you're seeing it on a different date, just take the message rather than the reading. But for those who follow along daily, we're building upon the cards and energies that we were working with. Energy is fluid, guys. Remember that. It ebbs and flows like the rivers and tides. It can change at the drop of a hat. It can change with the, creation of a thought. So let's just look and see what the cards want us to know this morning. Interesting. We've seen this card before, and yesterday we had justice, and today we have judgment. Oh, isn't today the day? And interesting, I just happened to flip over the deck because the card came out upside down, right? Which I don't necessarily do inversions for the daily because it just gets a little too complicated, right? So I flipped the card up right before showing it to you, and I just wanted to check the bottom of the deck to make sure that I didn't have the deck completely upside down. And the card that shows up underneath there at the bottom of the deck is that Three of Coins, which is that Three of Pentacles, which is that underpinning energy card for this week, which is the underpinning energy. Like, in case I needed to be reminded, this deck is wild. I can feel it already. This deck is, as they say in some circles, working my puss in a way. It's just giving me heavy messages. Not heavy messages, but it's such a strangely kind of eerie deck. Not necessarily in a bad way. It's just got this feel to it. The artist that created it, I don't know what his deal is, but I'm really interested in how his mind works because it's a beautiful yet sort of, I don't know, subconscious sort of feeling deck. It's very beautiful. His name is Nicholas Bruno, and he's a photographer, and he created this deck a while back. All right, so let's get into this. Judgment is the tail end of the major arcana, the second to last card of the journey, right? So we're talking about we're coming close to the ending. Judgment is about answering the call, right? It's usually in a traditional tarot deck depicted with the Archangel Gabriel above a bunch of, sort of rejoicing human beings down below. I always see them sometimes as zombies. They feel like they're rising from the grave, like his music is bringing them back to life, right? And maybe that's what judgment is bringing us back to life, into our passions, into our desires, that sort of a thing. With this card, though, in particular, I get this feeling like we're about to take the next step in the journey. And the reason why is my focus is always on this white figure on this ladder and like the clouds sort of clearing away. And I feel like there's an expectation from these other two shrouded figures here. And again, we have this sort of trinity going on, which I always associate with the mind, body, spirit. And remember, this week we saw two trinity cards in our weekly, which was the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. We also saw the Wheel of Fortune, which was our first card of the week, 3 times this week. And then we saw, which is really weird, we saw the Four of Wands on 1110. And the Four of Wands is technically called the 1111 card. And yesterday or this morning, as I'm filming this, is 1111. So there's these weird things that are going on with these cards. There's a lot of synchronicities that this deck is trying to sort of almost push at me, it feels like. Now, with this card, yesterday we saw Justice. Today is Judgment. Both are very similar in nature, right? Generally, people are judged in court, or to receive justice, a judgment has to be like laid or take claim, right? And to me, when I'm thinking about Lady Justice from yesterday and the reading from yesterday, and then also this card showing up today, it's kind of like all deals are final, right? Like it's done, it's dyed in the wool is kind of my feeling. Like the sort of the answer here is, or what I'm getting here is okay, here's the ladder, get up there and climb. Like now's the time. There's no more mincing, there's no more hemming and hawing. There's no more, we've kind of been sitting with this all week while we were looking at those Wheel of Fortune things. So whatever was shifting around in our life in the early part of this week, whether we liked it or not, it is now done, shifted, and it's time for us to move. Like, let's get it going, kind of. Oh, that was the other idiosyncrasy with this week's cards, too. Check this out. This morning's card, which I haven't run the airing yet of it, I'm filming before playing this morning's card, but the Justice card, which today is 11/11, right? I'm filming this a day early. Justice is card number 11 in the Major Arcana. And that I noticed after I did the reading. So I don't call that out in the reading from the day previous. But I noticed that after the fact, I was like, wait a second, that's the 11th card of the Major Arcana, and it's 11/11. What is going on with this deck? Like, stop scaring me. Anyways, so back to this. This is card number 20, right? Boils down to a 2. 2s are about relationships. I believe that the relationship here within this card is our relationship probably to ourselves. We saw that in the Four of Wands this week. We also see that in the relationship to this ladder. Are we willing to take the risk? Are we willing to be strong enough, brave enough, capable enough to begin this new journey, to end the old journey, to move away from confusion, to move away from whatever it was that maybe wasn't necessarily serving us, and move towards something new, to attain higher heights, to have faith in ourselves and go after that sort of promise. And what I mean by that is those were some of the grounding stones in the early part of this week, where it was feeling like there's some sort of promise that we've made to ourselves on some level, right? Within ourselves, that like, I'm not going to be treated this way anymore. I'm not going to partake in this behavior anymore. I am not going to second guess myself anymore, or doubt myself, or put others before me anymore. That's sort of the feeling. And so this Judgment card to me is like, okay, so we've made the decision, or we've come to that understanding now. Are we ready to like act it out? Are we ready to live in that reality? Right? Are we ready to actually, begin to move down that path or down that set of beliefs and create them as our lifestyle, as our behaviors, right? Judgment is Major Arcana, so it should be significant. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be something that's going to have a larger impact. Be aware of that. It's not a bad card. And these cards, again, like I said, they have this sort of somberness to them, this sort of chilling kind of feel to them. But I really feel like this is sort of spirit trying to like tell us now's the time. November's here. We're deep into November. We're getting ready to go into the more quieter winter months. Now's the time to sort of be doing these assessments to start to begin to affect these changes so that we begin out the new year in a place, or at least climbing towards or following a path that better suits us, or that's more in alignment with who we are rather than what we've been doing, say, to get by. I hope that makes sense. Now, here's the urban crow. The urban crow is curiosity, which I'm not mad at all. I like this. I love that he's peeking in the door. All the other crows, are kind of like hanging out on the wires. They're kind of fine doing their crow-like stuff. Um, and I feel like there should be a bit of a curiosity with that ladder, right? That ladder to me is almost representational of that doorway where that crow is sticking his head through the door. Where are we at a point in our life where we're like sort of sampling an idea of, what's on the other side of this? If I change this, how would that look? That's sort of the curiosity of the crow, right? That's sort of the beginning of the ladder and the clearing of the clouds. It's like, oh wait, maybe there's another path. Maybe there's another opportunity here for me, but I have to be willing to have an open mind. That would be the curiosity. I have to be willing to be brave enough to step forward into a world that I don't necessarily understand or know, right? Or I can stay up on the wires with all the other crows and just kind of do what crows do, and maybe, I don't know, sort of live out a crow like existence. I don't know. Maybe this isn't my best reading this morning, but that's sort of what I'm feeling, right? I always feel with this judgment card that there is something deeper within us that is urging us to take this ladder, to climb up this ladder, right? Those two shrouded figures here feel like this is like the mind body spirit connection, right? This is probably more so the mind, if anything, the mind and the ego. This is maybe the body and the spirit. They have a little bit more of a subtler way of speaking to us, even though the subconscious is hidden in the mind. However you want to look at it, I feel like those two shrouded figures are kind of urging that other figure to, it's like, go ahead, it's safe, do this, take the risk, take the jump, take the leap, be curious, find out what's down that road, find out what those changes, even if it's just a step towards that, right? Just like how that crow is peeking its head in the door and sniffing at that boot. The interesting thing I just noticed in that picture is that there's a photo of a crow up on the wall, right? So even though this photo up here, even though this might be a foreign environment that this crow feels as though he doesn't belong, there's an awareness of him here. There's a love of him and an appreciation of him in this new environment that he maybe cannot see. Does that make sense? Right? Like, so whoever owns these boots, whoever lives in this home, whoever lives in this world or this new iteration of what we want to become, it may not feel familiar to us, but there's already like a predecessor or a pre-laid understanding of who we are in the now that appreciates us enough to make this shift, change, um, curiosity. It's like it's, how do I want to say that? That little painting makes me feel like um, the way has been prepared, is what I want to say. I know that sounds a little dramatic, but that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. All right, let's go to the grounding stone really quick. God, these readings have been running long this week. I think it's just because I'm into this deck. Also, I will say too that Three of Pentacles shows up again at the bottom of the deck, to remind us, and that is our underpinning um, card for the end of the week. Three of Pentacles is that material wealth. It is changes in our workspace, career, material world, relationships, but it's successful. It's successful through collaboration, through what we bring to the table and what others bring to the table. So keep that in mind today too. The word is on carnelian, which is a red stone, which associates to me with the first chakra, right? And where our survival is, where our, our where we connect to our world, to our material world, both like, emotionally, physically, spiritually. It all comes down through that energy center of the first chakra, right? That's what connects us to the planet. The word is miracle. I'm not mad at that, right? I'm not mad at the changes or anything that's shifting right now. Ground in the idea that miracles exist. When I was looking at the word for the week, right? The grounding stone for the week is that word faith. And what do you need to have so that you can experience miracles is the very thing, which is faith, right? You have to have faith in, maybe it's your God or yourself or a situation or another human being. And that's when the magic can happen, when the good things can come. I mean, often, I'm not going to say it always works out, right? Sometimes we get let down, or our expectations can, not be met. But there's a difference between expectations and faith. Faith is, like, to me, more about knowing that everything's going to be okay no matter what the outcome. And that's where we begin to see the miracles, even those things that feel like they are at adversities. Or, what was that crow that we had flying in the middle of the week against the storm? Was it adversity was the word, or turbulence, or I don't remember. But we had a couple of sketchy crow cards, right? We had the Seven of Swords one too. So we've got some elements around us that maybe aren't necessarily feeling, um, helping us to feel very comfortable in the decisions and the shifts and the changes that are happening for us right now. But as we trust them, as we have faith in ourselves and faith in, like, sort of the bigger plan, that would be that wheel of fortune that kept showing up early part of this week. And believe in those miracles, ground in the miracle of that this is all too going to work out, ground in the idea that our curiosity can maybe lead us to a whole new world that might be actually expecting our arrival. That's that little painting of that crow up on that wall. It's like waiting for us to get here. That's my feeling. We just don't know it yet. Our mind hasn't caught up yet. All right, that's your forecast for the day, you guys. I hope it makes sense. Please hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new to me. Share it out with whomever you would like. I'd love to get the word out about the channel. And have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye bye.